For most people, the modern economy is defined by friction. It is the daily reality of navigating inflation and fighting over the finite resources of a closed terrestrial system. But while the working class calculates the cost of surviving on the surface, a separate, parallel supply chain is being organized. Aerospace engineers are laying the concrete for a heavily automated, off-world industrial economy. The immediate pressure forcing this machinery off the planet is artificial intelligence. The exponential growth of AI compute demands a staggering volume of electricity and vast amounts of water to cool the hardware. Local terrestrial grids are already buckling under the sheer physical load of training these models. A ceiling exists for how much energy can be managed on a planetary surface before the logistics of power generation and waste heat become insurmountable. An alien observer assessing our progress would not look at our culture or our software. They would judge us using the Kardashev Scale, a strict, objective audit of the total energy a civilization is capable of extracting from its environment. By that metric, humanity barely registers. We capture roughly 0.5 billionth of our local star's total output. For all our technological milestones, we are currently harnessing 0% of the available power. Attempting to solve this by covering our planet in solar panels is a mathematical dead end. Earth is 70% ocean, and much of the remaining landmass is dominated by these frozen expanses near the poles, rendering the majority of the surface useless for capturing sunlight. To understand our scale, this diagram shows the mass distribution of our solar system. The Sun contains 99.86% of all matter. Jupiter accounts for almost all of the remaining fraction. Earth exists as a tiny miscellaneous rounding error, a microscopic speck living next to an immense, untapped furnace. To reach even the first meaningful rung on that cosmic ladder, humanity has to abandon the surface. We have to bypass the atmosphere entirely and intercept the power directly in the vacuum. Moving an economy off-world is blocked by two physical constants, a deep gravity well and a thick atmosphere. Escaping both requires a massive, sustained expenditure of energy. This chart illustrates the logistical bottleneck. Currently, the entire human race launches roughly 2,500 tons of material into space each year. Operating a solar economy requires moving millions of tons. If you throw away the transport vehicle every time you make a delivery, bridging that gap is mathematically impossible. It would be like throwing away an airplane after a single flight. Starship addresses this through full and rapid reusability. This silhouette represents a vehicle designed to launch, land, and relaunch with the frequency of a commercial aircraft. To maximize payload mass, engineers stripped away heavy landing legs. Instead, the booster descends precisely over the launch site and is caught mid-air by an industrial tower designed to be flown again within the hour. Starship is a heavy-duty cargo vehicle designed to shift the global supply chain into orbit. Once that heavy-lift cargo route is established, the payloads become highly specialized. Placing data centers into orbit eliminates terrestrial bottlenecks. Solar energy is limitless, and waste heat easily radiates out into the absolute vacuum of space. This schematic breaks down the anatomy of the AI-1 satellite concept. It centers on a 150 kilowatt rack of AI compute. Power is captured by a 70-meter span of flat solar panels, while a massive radiator sits knife-edge to the sun to expel heat. These racks do not operate alone. A network of high-bandwidth laser links connects the constellation, syncing units into a single decentralized supercomputer. Scaling this orbital infrastructure to a terawatt requires a volume of physical chips that dwarfs current global output. The proposed solution is a dedicated megafactory called the Terafab. To scale what you are looking at here, producing a terawatt of orbit-ready chips yearly demands an enclosed footprint of 100 million square feet. That is 10 times the size of the Gigafactory in Texas. Assembling the pieces for the off-world economy will require industrializing massive swaths of the Earth just to build the starting line. Even with a reusable freight rocket flying every hour, launching millions of tons of steel and silicon from Earth eventually hits a hard economic ceiling. The gravity well remains a constant cost. The math dictates a shift away from the planet entirely. Heavy manufacturing of solar arrays and cooling infrastructure must pivot to the moon. Operating on the lunar surface removes terrestrial physics from the equation. There is zero atmospheric drag, and the gravitational pull is 1/6 that of Earth. That low gravity allows for an efficient delivery mechanism. Instead of loading chemical rockets, long electromagnetic tracks can be built into the dust. These massive electromagnetic mass drivers silently accelerate the manufactured hardware straight off the moon, shooting it into deep space. For every automated factory, every reusable cargo rocket, and every lunar mass driver points toward a single numerical target: 1 microsol. Harnessing just 1/1,000,000th of the sun's total energy output officially pushes humanity up the Kardashev scale. A colossal, automated infrastructure is being assembled in the dark to drink the raw power of the solar system. But as that silent machinery turns on, the vast majority of people will simply watch from the ground, permanently tethered to the Earth, cut off from the energy orbiting directly above them.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down a literal mind-bending roadmap from Elon Musk and SpaceX. We're talking about their vision to build massive AI data centers in space. I know, it sounds like something pulled straight out of a sci-fi novel, but this is a true, undeniable leap in human engineering that is already actively underway. By the end of this explainer, you're going to see exactly how SpaceX plans to turn the vacuum of space into the ultimate hub for artificial intelligence. Okay, let's jump right into our agenda. Today, we're going to cover the cosmic goal, mass to orbit, power generation, the terafab, and finally, something absolutely wild called the lunar mass driver. Starting off with Section 1, the cosmic goal. So, to understand why we're even trying to put data centers into space in the first place, we really have to zoom all the way out. Right now, massive AI models are just devouring electricity here on Earth, and we're hitting the limits of our power grid. Enter the Kardashev Scale. This is a brilliant concept for measuring an advanced civilization based on how much energy it can actually harness. To be the kind of civilization an alien species might actually respect, we have to level up. Currently, we're a Type I civilization. Well, actually, scratch that. We barely even harness the energy of our own planet. To progress to a Type II, we need to capture the colossal energy of our entire star. And it's honestly incredibly hard to comprehend the true scale of that star. Just think about this. The mass of the sun makes up 99.86% of the entire solar system. That remaining 0.14%, yeah, that's mostly Jupiter. Earth is literally just a tiny dust mote compared to the massive power potential of the sun. We are starving for power to run the AI of the future, yet we're living right next door to the ultimate generator. The crucial point here is that right now, humanity uses much less than a trillionth of the sun's power output. SpaceX's aspirational goal to capture just 1/1,000,000th of that energy, which they call 1 microsol. But we can't do that here on the ground. Think about it. Our planet is 70% water, and a huge chunk of the remaining land is covered by uninhabitable regions like the poles. Our ability to capture solar energy on Earth is fundamentally capped. So to move from a pathetic trillionth to a respectable millionth, we absolutely have to move our solar capture into space, where there are no oceans, no atmosphere, and no weather getting in the way. But getting to 1 microsol isn't just about throwing a bunch of solar panels into the void. You need something up there using that power to make it worthwhile, which is where orbital AI data centers come in. To actually make this happen, we're facing 3 massive engineering hurdles. We need to get the mass to orbit, we need to generate power while shedding heat, and we need to manufacture enough AI chips to make the whole thing work. And SpaceX is systematically knocking these down one by one. Which brings us to Section 2, mass to orbit. You obviously can't build a massive data center in space if you can't lift the heavy materials off the ground efficiently. And the absolute fundamental breakthrough required here is rapid reusability. Imagine if airlines threw away a Boeing 747 every single time it flew from New York to London. Flying would be completely unaffordable, right? Well, historically, rockets have been thrown away after one use, making the idea of flying millions of tons of servers to space financially impossible. But Starship solves this beautifully. It is literally the first rocket ever designed for full rapid reusability. To save crucial weight, the booster doesn't even have landing legs. Instead, it's designed to be physically caught out of the sky by a massive launch tower. It's wild. In Starship version 3, it boasts more than double the thrust of the legendary Saturn V moon rocket. The ultimate goal here is to catch the rocket, place it back on the pad, and relaunch that exact same rocket more than once an hour. By mastering this reusability, Starship completely shifts the paradigm. Right now, SpaceX delivers roughly 2,500 tons to orbit per year, which, by the way, is already nearly 90% of all Earth mass sent to orbit. But with Starship, they plan to leap from thousands of tons to orbiting an incredible 1,000,000 tons of mass annually. And they want to do this within just 3 years. That takes care of getting the hardware up there. Moving right along to Section 3, power generation. Once we actually get this incredible volume of hardware into orbit, how do we power it? And just as importantly, how do we cool it? The plan is to launch individual orbital AI satellites that act as nodes in a massive space-based data center. Each of these satellites targets 150 kilowatt peak power capacity. To put that into perspective, that's roughly equivalent to powering a single, highly advanced rack of modern AI compute, like an NVIDIA GB300 rack. You're effectively taking a massive server rack and floating it in zero gravity. Now, you might be wondering if this requires some kind of magical, unheard-of new technology. But check out this quote from Ian Dahl on the Starlink team. He points out that orbital compute is really just a scaled-up evolution of their existing, proven Starlink hardware. They already have the baseline technology operating right above our heads today. In fact, when we compare them side by side, the AI satellite is functionally much simpler than a Starlink satellite. Starlink needs highly complex phased array antennas to beam the internet down to Earth. The AI satellite, it basically just needs some solar cells for power, laser links to communicate, and double-sided radiators. The real difference is the physical size. The AI satellite needs massive 70-meter radiators to expel the extreme waste heat generated by those AI chips. But here's the beautiful part. Getting rid of heat is actually easier in space than on Earth because these giant radiators can simply radiate that heat straight out into the infinite vacuum. All right, Section 4, the terafab. So we have the reusable rockets, and we have the simplified satellite design with giant solar arrays. But our third major hurdle is manufacturing. We have to build the sheer volume of AI chips required to hit our goals. To climb the Kardashev scale, the ultimate objective is to deploy a terawatt of space compute. To even fathom building enough chips for that, SpaceX envisions building a terafab manufacturing facility. To put this into perspective, the Tesla Gigafactory in Texas is already one of the largest buildings in the world at 10 million square feet. The proposed terafab? 100 million square feet. That is 10 times the size. It's a scale of manufacturing that completely pushes the boundaries of modern industrial capability. And this brilliant timeline shows they aren't just dreaming. They have an actionable, exponential strategy. Their aspirational goal is to hit an annualized rate of 1 gigawatt of space AI compute by the end of next year. From there, they want to scale by an order of magnitude every year. We're talking 10 gigawatts in 2.5 years and 100 gigawatts in less than 4 years. They are charting a very real, very aggressive path to scale up.
And finally, Section 5, the lunar mass driver.
Let's look even further into the future. What happens when we reach that 100 gigawatt or terawatt mark? What happens when we simply exhaust our manufacturing space and our launch capabilities here on Earth? Well, you can't rely on launching from Earth anymore. The plan involves moving production to the moon. By mining and manufacturing the massive solar arrays and radiators directly on the lunar surface, you bypass Earth's deep gravity well entirely. Because the moon has only 1/6 of Earth's gravity and zero atmosphere to create friction, you don't even need rockets to launch the satellites. You could build a mass driver, which is essentially a massive electromagnetic railgun, to physically shoot the assembled AI data centers directly into deep space. No rockets required. It's truly a vision that completely redefines what is possible for us. By conquering rapid reusability, deploying massive solar wings, and pushing manufacturing to literal astronomical scales, SpaceX isn't just building data centers, they're trying to graduate humanity on the cosmic scale. Leaving you with this to ponder. As we climb the Kardashev scale and transform